Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya usini record, bonyeza *811*396#.
Unakata pia kabaya Wakenya mnakuanga nako ya kuweka mtu kwa speaker alafu mnarekodi sauti yake bila ruhusa. Nikipata sauti yangu ina trend huko nje na kuna pesa napata, mtajua mimi mlu yako na roya na sina roya binadamu. Usini record.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii usini record, bonyeza *811*396#.
The Mozart Bait Cup brings together teams from Kenya Premier League, the National Super League, and the FKF Division 1 side for a chance to represent the nation in the CAF Confederation. Catch all the action live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 as we bring you all the matches of the Mozart Bait Cup with the grand finale set for the 24th of June 2023. Watch this momentous event live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from the comfort of your place. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Day of Monday, the year of the Lord 2023. You are all in time for KBC Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House in the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. Good evening. My name is Mboya. Tonight we have lined up for you a number of stories. Remember, the High Court suspending the inquiry into the Shakahola tragedy. But the question is, have the courts opened the bank accounts for the controversial televangelist Ezekiel Odero? Plus, later on in the world of sports, we have Marakwet taking charge of what happened in the space of sports. But here's the deal. We're going to open this live broadcast first with an executive summary of our top stories tonight. And it begins right now. I ain't done with politics. Uhuru Kenyatta re-emerges with all guns blazing at Jubilee's NDC. DP's day as chair, one of a kind, as the country's second in command steers cabinet deliberations. It's death on sight as excavator scoops soil, buries two construction workers alive in Ruiru. Many thanks indeed for joining us on this live broadcast. Our socials media, which you can use, by the way, to interact with us, is at KBC Channel 1, and you can also speak to us on my Twitter handle at Tomboya24. Tonight, the one in charge of the sign language docket, none other than Lensa Odingo. And we want to thank you all for making time to be with us. Straight to our top story. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta says he will not quit active politics just yet. The Jubilee Party leader says that he is willing to forfeit his retirement benefits to prevent a takeover of the ruling party. He made those remarks during the party's National Delegates Conference that resolved that to expel the Ala Member of Parliament, Kanini Kega, as well as the nominated Member of Parliament, Sabina Chege, who are perceived to be party rebels. JJ Curia opens our coverage tonight with the political story.
Monday morning at the Ngong Racecourse grounds in Nairobi. The grounds were painted red as Jubilee national delegates gathered for a conference to chart the way forward for the troubled party. There was confusion over the venue after the party failed to secure the Bomas of Kenya. Jubilation songs before the formal commencement of a meeting that brought together top echelons of a party. When the retired president rose to speak, he had a bombshell. Following a sustained push to have the retired president relinquish the Jubilee Party leader position, Kenyatta remained steadfast he was not out just yet.
Wengine wameamua ya kwamba kazi itakuwa ya vitisho na kulazimisha. Siku ya leo nimewaambia tafuteni mwingine, sio Uhuru wa Kenyatta.
The party leader firing a warning shot to perceived rebels.
Kwa sababu sisi ni wanademokrasia, na kama kwa jukumu lolote you've had a change of heart, then do the respectful thing. Just go and leave us be in peace. Na hiyo viti ambavyo vyeo tulikuwa tumewapee, muturudishie kwa heshima, tupatie wengine.
Of the over 34 MPs elected on a Jubilee Party ticket, only 3 attended the event, with 31 of them giving the event a wide berth. While calling for re-energizing in the party, Kenyatta said he was ready to forfeit benefits of a retired president to protect the party.
Heshima sio utumwa. Heshima sio utumwa. It's a two-way street. Na kuona wengine wamenyamaza sio kusema wameogopa. No. Get that out of your mind. Chukueni ile mnataka, mfanye viti. That will never work. Haiwezi. Lakini ukitaka kuja na njia ya haki, pitia mlango wa mbele.
The meeting would end with the National Delegates Conference resolving to eject and expel those allied to Kanini Kega.
The resolution was that Jubilee Party, those positions be filled with loyal, faithful and trustworthy members of Jubilee Party.
Any member who has shown any interest that is inconsistent with the provision of the Jubilee Party ceases to be a member of Jubilee Party. As many of that opinion say yes?
Azimio leaders who joined the coalition's chairman in the NDC protested what they termed a state-sponsored invasion of a Jubilee Party.
Kwa upande mmoja wanasema wanataka kuimarisha multi-party democracy, badilisha weka ofisi ya kiongozi wa upinzani katika bunge. Kwa upande hii unaua Jubilee, unaingia ODM, kwa hivyo unaingia ndani ya Wiper.
Touching Jubilee is bombing the foundation of a house called Azimio la Umoja. We shall not let anyone play around with constituent parties of Azimio.
Kama wanaheshimu multi-party democracy, wakubali kwamba sasa kuwe na by-elections kwa mahali ambapo wanawakilisha.
Sisi leo tuwasema, let it remain a dream, but Kenya will remain a multi-party state. Tuko pamoja.
In the changes made by the party, former Kigumo MP Jamlek Kamau will take over from Kega as the Director of Elections, while former Igembe North MP Maoka Maore, former Kajiado North MP Joseph Manje, and former Gatundu North MP Patrick Mwiruri will serve as deputy party leaders. In the minority leadership of the National Assembly, Embakasi West's Mark Mwenje is expected to replace Sabina Chege as deputy whip. The Jubilee NDC spearheaded by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta is significant for 2 reasons. One, because it is the clearest indication yet that he is not quitting politics, which escalates the tensions between him and the current administration. And number 2, it is a clear escalation of wars between him and the Kanini Kega Sabina axis. So which way the DAF party? Only the register of political parties can make a determination. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
And of course, there's a name caption there where we showed the picture of Eugene Wamalwa and erroneously referred to him as Kalonzo Musyoka. Apologies for that mix-up. But here is the thing. In a quick rejoinder, the Kanini Kega-led faction has dismissed the move by the party to oust them, terming it null and void. Kega has vowed to hold separate National Delegates Conference in the month of July. Gladys Mungai puts that story in perspective.
The woes facing the Dove Party continue to deepen as Kanini Kega dismissed Monday's events at the National Delegates Conference chaired by retired President Uhuru Kenyatta that gave him the marching orders alongside nominated MP Sabina Chege and others perceived to be warming up to the government.
The meeting that was held today at Gong Race Course was not a Jubilee Party National Delegate Convention. In fact, it was another political rally. As you are aware, the Internal Dispute Resolution Committee, IDRC, in its ruling dated 18th May 2023, stayed and suspended the notice issued by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and published in the print media on the 29th of May 2023, pending the hearing and determination of the dispute challenging the legality of the purported NDC.
Jubilee ambayo inatambulika kisheria ni Jubilee ambayo inaongozwa na mwenyekiti Nzuya na kaimu sasa katibu mkuu Kanini Kega. Kwa hivyo kama kutakuweko na mawasiliano rasmi itatolewa ndani ya ofisi hii.
In a statement, Kega has vowed to wrestle the party from Uhuru Kenyatta-led faction. They say they'll organize a separate National Delegates Conference in July to stamp their authority and make further changes.
A Jubilee Party meeting has officially authorized people to call for one, and none was called for today, and no transaction of Jubilee occurred today.
Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega teamed up with a section of Jubilee elected legislators to kick out former President Uhuru Kenyatta from the party leadership and named nominated MP Sabina Chege as the new party leader and Kanini Kega as the new Secretary General, replacing Jeremiah Kioni. The political party dispute tribunal is yet to determine who the legitimate party leader is after the Register of Political Parties referred the dispute back to the tribunal.
Kwa wale ambao tuliowafurusha kwenye chama, wafuate sheria. Wakitaka kwenda kurudishwa kwenye chama, wakitaka kurudishwa kwenye viti, wafuate sheria. Koti za vyama vya kisiasa zipo.
It is now a game of wait and see to see what next for the party amid the continued debacle. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
And of course, we will be following that story for you. Obviously, a conflict there, and that mechanism of resolving conflicts being activated. And with time, we will be knowing who the legit officials of the Jubilee Party are. Now, moving on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua Monday chaired a committee of the entire cabinet at his official residence as in Karen, Nairobi, Kenya. That meeting was the first of its kind. And this leadership bringing together several cabinet secretaries outside of what we are used to, that is State House. Now, among issues that were discussed is the progress of the implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan, and the second in command reiterating that the government is on track in implementing its agenda. Straight into the corridors of justice now, the High Court has suspended an inquiry into the Shakahola tragedy, temporarily throwing the Justice Lesit-led commission operations into disarray. Justice Lawrence Mugambi is expected to issue a ruling in 7 days that will determine the fate of the commission. Azimio coalition had moved to court, you remember, to challenge the constitutionality of the commission probing the Shakahola tragedy that resulted into the death of more than 200 people. Let's take you to Ruiru now, where one person has died while another is nursing serious injuries, by the way, following a tragedy at a construction site in Ruiru, Kiambu County. The duo were working on a building near Ruiru prison when soil from an excavator buried them. The contractor and the driver of the excavator have been arrested. after that incident.
What started as a normal day at work for the construction workers ended in tragedy. A tragedy that claimed one life, while another person is fighting for his life at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Research and Referral Hospital.
Walikuwa wamechimba trench, wakatoa ama mtaro, wakatoa mchanga na wakasimamisha kolamu. Na walifanya hivyo siku moja, tunaelezwa na wananchi hapa, wamerudi tena sasa kuendelea na hiyo kazi, kutoa mbao, diposa wale ambao walikuwa wanatoa zile mbao ambazo zilikuwa zimeshikilia kolamu ya ikazidiwa na uzito wa mchanga. Mchanga ikaweza kuporomoka na kwa bahati mbaya ikazika watu wawili.
Area Deputy County Commissioner Margaret Mboya says the contractor alongside the driver of the excavator have been arrested as police officers pursue the developer.
Mwenyewe bado hatujapatana na yeye, lakini hao tayari wako na polisi.
Initial investigations revealed the contractor did not have valid documents.
Hata mwenyewe kumuuliza kama ako na hizo stakabadhi hana. Mwenyewe anatueleza hana. Kwa hivyo tunaonya contractors wafuatilie zile kanuni ambazo zimewekwa, manake ni hasara kubwa sana kupoteza watu hivi, ni hasara kubwa sana.
Nasio Kware, Prime Edition.
Now, the debate on the Finance Bill 2023 remains a subject of controversy, with a section of civil society organizations now urging legislators to reject the proposal to introduce a housing levy. Civil society groups under the umbrella Okoa Uchumi have hit out at legislators supporting the introduction of a 3% housing levy to implement affordable housing among low-income earners, saying that it will further hurt struggling taxpayers.
The Finance Bill 2023 continues to elicit mixed reactions across the country, with Kenyans and those in leadership divided on which way the country should go as regards its enactment. Programs Manager at Kenya Human Rights Commission Annette Nerima says that the proposed financial bill will further burden Kenyans who are already weighed down by the rising cost of living and inflation.
We oppose this and also ask the Parliament to reject this proposal with the justification that these industries employ young people, and women. Lifting of VAT exemptions could increase the cost of business, which could cause layoffs.
More than 20 civil society groups under the umbrella Okoa Uchumi are now lobbying legislators to reject the introduction of the fund, saying it will put more pressure on struggling Kenyans.
Coalition members reject this proposed amendment and recommend that the new rate of 35% should apply to those earning more than 1 million Kenya shillings per month.
Meanwhile, Kenya National Union of Teachers NAT Migori branch officials have threatened to mobilize their members for mass action if the 3% housing levy deduction is implemented. Migori branch executive secretary Roslyn Wandigi said the teachers will not give in to unnecessary demands imposed on civil servants in form of tax increase.
We don't expect any other person to talk about our houses. And in real sense, if I want to build a house, we have been given house allowance. And out of the house allowance, we have been using it, and we have also built these houses. Some of our members are almost retiring. So we're wondering where we want to take the houses that we already have. And why would the government just want to go to take us to Nairobi to build houses?
In Mombasa, a section of members drawn from the Coast Civil Society Network for Human Rights have rejected the proposed Finance Bill 2023, noting that the timing is wrong. According to them, the bill contains proposals that will further escalate the cost of living for Kenyans.
Pinga vikali pia pendekezo la kukata wafanyikazi 3% ya mshahara wao ili kujenga nyumba. Hii inchi iko na shida nyingi, lakini nyumba si moja hizo shida. Kwa sasa Wakenya wanatafuta chakula, wanatafuta jinsi gani watapeleka watoto wao shule.
Introduction of 5% excise duty per kg of sugar And lastly, the introduction of 15% withholding tax on digital content monetization.
At the same time, Mombasa County Senator Mohamed Faki and Women Member of Parliament Zamzam Mohamed called on their counterparts in Parliament to shoot down the proposal and stand firm in rejecting the implementation of the finance bill.
Mimi pia najiunga na wabunge wenzangu kupinga mswada huu wa fedha wa mwaka 2023-24 kwa sababu tumeona kwamba mswada huu unazidi kugandamiza wananchi wa Kenya. Unazidi kugandamiza wale wanalipa ushuru katika nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Wabunge msimame na Wakenya. Wabunge simameni na Wakenya, usiangalie chama kilichokuchagua. Wananchi ndio watadetermine, kwa sababu Kenya kwanza, Azimio, wananchi wote kule chini wote wanaumia.
Into the corridors of justice, controversial televangelist Ezekiel Odero has been granted access to his New Life Church as well as Kilifi International School bank accounts that had been frozen since the 8th of May 2023. Remember when he was arrested. The decision was taken after the Chief Investigative Officer, Martin Munene, told the court that he has so far received documents from the banks holding accounts, thus has no objection to having them reopened. Ruth Mboya with this and more from our courts roundup.
It's green light for Pastor Ezekiel Odero as he can now withdraw millions from his accounts following the lapse of the freezing orders yesterday. It was a relief for embattled Pastor Ezekiel Odero after his bank accounts, which were frozen on May 8, 2023, were opened.
We are happy that this matter is ending on a low note, on a spiritual manner, and we appreciate the state's gesture. That's all.
Investigating Officer Martin Munene on Monday told the court that 5 banks, Cooperative, NCBA, Equity, KCB, and HFC, complied with the order allowing investigations into the preacher's various accounts, with only Safaricom that has not complied.
This is a friend request at your honor. The 6th respondent be summoned by this honorable court, your honor, to appear and give reasons for non-compliance.
Trial Magistrate Ben Makehubi has ordered the matter be mentioned on 30th May to confirm the progress made by Safaricom in supplying M-Pesa statements.
All the other orders that were issued on the 8th of May are vacated save for that 3-6.
Elsewhere, suspended Kenya Bureau of Standards Managing Director Ben Njiraini and 7 others have denied a criminal charge of stealing condemned brown sugar valued at 20 million Kenya shillings. The accused denied the offense before Milimani Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina.
Each of the 8 accused persons hearing is granted bond of Kenya shillings 800,000 with one surety, each in similar sum, with alternative cash bail of Kenya shillings 400,000 with one contact person each.
Meanwhile, 8 suspects caught on CCTV camera attacking health workers at Nduru Level 4 Hospital in Gucha Sub-County during a public demonstration have been arraigned at Ogembo Town Court. Appearing before the Senior Principal Magistrate Paul Biwot, the suspect denied charges on robbery with violence, assault causing actual bodily harm, and malicious damage to property.
Supply witness statements to prosecutors so that during the hearing they be ready.
They were given a bond of 100,000 shillings each and a surety of the same amount or a cash bail of 20,000 shillings. Mention of the case will be on 5th June this year, while the hearing was fixed on July 4, 2023. Finally, a Milo investment company has accused the EFCC investigators of tampering with witnesses in a 24 million shillings case.
Just had our disappointment and concern in such interference by officers of the Ethics and Corruption Commission, and I've already written to the chair of the commission and copied the same to the CEO, together with other bodies, public bodies that are supposed to protect the interest of justice.
Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition from Milimani Law Courts in the county of Nairobi.
Now, there's a group that's pushing for a review of the Climate Act change. Climate Act 2016. Which group is that? We'll let you know when we come back from this short break. Stay with us.
Kwa majina naitwa Margaret Muthoni, mkazi wa Rwaka. Nimeshinda microwave, muendelee kucheza Loto Moto na nimefurahia.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000. Lipa kisha subiri draw.
Colgate Herbal is formulated from a unique blend of natural herbs and is scientifically proven to strengthen teeth and keep gums healthy. Try Colgate Herbal, scientifically proven for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Welcome to Take on Tech. This is the show that keeps you updated on everything you need to know about technology.
First of all, the women that are already in tech should be empowered.
I've actually studied electrical and electronics engineering, telecommunications option. So basically I'm in the tech sector.
The government should empower the girl child in a way that they should venture so much into ICT.
There's never a dull moment with us. Tune in every Monday from 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Ni kubwa, ni mingi, ni tamu, ni yako na ni moto.
Tumengojea sana show ya Kikenya ambayo inatuelewa na inatujali
na pia inajumuika nasi katika magumu ya maisha. Guess what? We have it. The Loto Moto Show! Uko na uwezo wa kujishindia hadi 2 million Kenyan shillings kupitia draw yetu popote unapotutazama.
Na tuko na haja ya kusikia story na magumu unayoyapitia. Tutakuita kwenye show na tutarahisisha mahali.
Nafasi za wageni watatu zipo katika kila show ambao wanajipatia fursa ya kujichagulia sanduku moja kati ya 12. Kila sanduku liko na zawadi kem na za kipekee. With lots of fun, lots of prizes and money. Loto Moto, only on KBC.
Welcome back, our socials at KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle at Mboya 24. Straight to our next story. Climate conscious groups are pushing for a review of the Climate Change Act 2016 to include non-state actors in the Climate Change Council. Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, poking holes into the existing law, argue that it lacks an elaborate legal as well as governance framework, which is hindering, really, its progressiveness in addressing climate change. Here is that report.
According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report, countries are required to reduce carbon emissions by 43% in the next 8 years. It is against this backdrop that climate activists, parliamentarians, and environmentalists held a consultative forum to review and propose amendments to the Climate Change Act of 2016. According to Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance Executive Director Mithika Mwenda, major issues currently not captured in the Act include representation of non-state actors in the Climate Change Council, role of the state in carbon markets, approval process for carbon projects, sustainable development initiatives, and a benefits sharing mechanism.
We need to overhaul it. We need to overhaul, and you can see, as per our even analysis, in fact, this is going to create a lot of confusion, this bill, because it's even the wording is even not consistent.
And if you look at what is being proposed, it's either the national government guiding communities on what to do, assuming that communities cannot propose themselves. themselves measures how they want the project that they're being implemented.
Some of the proposed recommendations on the amendment bill include developing substantive carbon markets policy, strengthen civil society and state actor participation in climate governance, clarify role of state in carbon market regulations, and improve institutional arrangements.
Let's improve it in such a way that we have this act more progressive and improve from what we are, rather than actually weakening it, particularly at the level of representation. So that's what we are saying, and I believe they are going to listen to us.
While interrogating the proposed Climate Amendment Bill 2023, the legislators pledged to rally behind the bill in Parliament. This even as they proposed the doubling of the National Government Constituency Development Fund allocated for climate change-related activities.
Our main interest is also to make sure that whichever law, whichever policy we have in this country, is it benefiting Kenyans? Do we have a room where we can do some small adjustment so that we can also make it more better, where we can strengthen it?
So you will also have another opportunity to have a memorandum, bring in your views on how you want us to assist you to ensure the law benefits the common Kenyan.
Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Here's a story of interest for those who are in conflict with the law, especially on petty offenses. Kenyans now will have an opportunity to file complaints, track progress, as well as request for a review of court cases through a digital platform. This follows the launch of an online platform by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions that sets in motion plans to expeditiously dispense with cases involving petty offenders through a paperless platform.
Current statistics show the country's 134 prison facilities are home to over 60,000 inmates against a carrying capacity of 30,000. It is this congestion that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution is seeking to address as part of its ongoing judicial reforms to enhance efficiency and reduce backlog of cases.
Therefore, in a bid to further decongest our prisons, the ODPP has reviewed 1,419 files from the Nairobi Remand Prison, from Makadara, Kiambu, Milimani, Kibera.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has launched a digital platform that is expected to enhance transparency and ease the process of tracking cases. Director of Public Prosecution Odin Haji, launching the platform at Nairobi Remand Prison, says Malalamishi system complaints and case review system will change the proverbial slow wheels of justice.
The All for Justice program and the Malalamishi complaints and case review system underscores our commitment to ensuring mashtaka yenye haki na usawa by addressing the needs of individuals in remand and the concerns of citizens regarding ongoing cases.
The platform will enable the public easily track progress of their case via a short message service sent to their cell phone, notifying them of the next mention and hearing of their cases.
Lakini tunajiuliza pia, hao watu wakiwa hapa ndani watapataje hiyo mtandao ndili waweze kuweka hiyo mlalamishi?
Kama hakuna mtandao, sisi wenyewe tutakuja kuwatembelea na kuja kuangalia na hizo kesi.
He further said leveraging on this, they will engage the criminal justice stakeholders to facilitate expeditious resolution of pending cases. The Commissioner General of Kenya Prison Service Brigadier Retired John Kebaso and civil society groups welcome the move, saying it is timely in fast-tracking cases and will in turn reduce congestion in prison through a speedy justice system.
As Kenya Prison Service, we remain committed to this cause and in supporting the key ODPP policies.
So on behalf of the Law Society, we want to give our commitment that we will work with you and all the relevant stakeholders.
Now, the family of Mboya Jerry, a police officer attached to Lodwar police station, that's in Turkana East, now want government to, reconnect him with his family after it was reported that he disappeared earlier on this month. The officer is said to have been spotted living in Nape Team police operation base, that's in Turkana East, about a week ago, but has not been seen since then. This story and more in our county news roundup as filed by Brian Onsomu.
According to the county police commander in Turkana, Samuel Ndanyi, said that they have searched for the officer but they have not been successful. Anne Njoroge, the wife to the missing police officer, urged the security agency to beef up the searching process, adding that the officer was sickly and therefore could not have gone far away.
Sasa kukakuwa wakimtafuta hiyo Sunday, wakamtafuta Monday na jana Tuesday na leo. Sasa ripoti ya mwisho ya leo nimeambiwa hawajampata, but wanatupromise kuamkia kesho asubuhi.
Tukamwambia tafadhali mtusaidie tu kweli, mtusaidie tumpate akiwa na uhai yake. Tukaambiwa ni sawa, tutashughulika. By jioni jana tukapiga simu tukaambiwa hapana, bado tu tunashughulika kutafuta angalau tujefanya nini? Tujemuona.
Meanwhile, detectives from Kenya sub-county have arrested a suspect and seized a consignment of contraband sugar at Magena Trading Center in Bomachoge, Borabu. This has come amid interdiction of several public officers in Mombasa over disappearance of a batch of brown sugar from the store which was condemned as unfit for human consumption.
Sukari yetu tumeweza kuipata hapa ni kampuni moja kutoka Uganda, nyingine ya Tanzania na zingine za hapa kwetu Kenya. Alafu wana karatasi za kupack ambazo maziona kule ndani. Wanapack kwa kilo 1, nusu na kilo 2. Na kwa kweli hakuna weighing machine ambayo iko hapa. Kwa hivyo kwa kabisa ukweli ni kwamba sukari ni kidogo sana.
Sasa naomba huyu mtu akuja aelezee mahali anatoa sukari. Mimi tu nimpea nyumba afanyie biashara.
Finally, Deputy Governor of Kakamega County, Ayub Savula, has called upon President William Ruto to organize a meeting with Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga in order to address the pressing issues, especially the rising cost of living in the country.
Huyu mwananchi ameumia na punda imechoka. Nataka hawa wakae wawili, Raila and Ruto, sit together, solve the problem facing the economy of this country.
Brandon Som, Prime Edition.
Well, here's a short one. He was the Minister for Roads and Public Works from 2000 to 2002. Now, on the cabinet this week, we are shining a spotlight on William Cheruiyot Morogo. He served in President Daniel Moi's administration.
William Cheruiyot Morogo was employed as an accountant at the Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology in Nakuru in 1979 until he joined elective politics. In 1992 elections, President Daniel Arap Moi successfully backed Morogo's bid for the Baringo South parliamentary seat. He represented the people of Baringo South until 1997, when the constituency was divided into two, Mogotio and Eldama Ravine constituencies. In 1997, Morogo contested for the Mogotio parliamentary seat and won despite stiff competition. Morogo served as the Minister for Roads and Public Works from 2000 to 2002. He left an indelible mark on the development of road infrastructure in the country. To date, the roads he helped build across the banditry-prone Baringo come in handy for security officers involved in the war on banditry. Morogo is also credited with rural electrification and the sinking of boreholes in the constituencies he served as Member of Parliament. In the 2002 general election, Morogo failed to clinch the KANU party nomination, which went to Josephat Korir, a former Nairobi Province Deputy Provincial Commissioner. For the Cabinet, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial star 811 star 963 hash.
Hail Mary, full of grace,
The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial star 811 star 963 hash star 811 star 963 hash.
Biggest odds in the world every day on selected matches. Make a decision. Mozart Bet.
Welcome to Take on Tech. This is the show that keeps you updated on everything you need to know about technology.
First of all, the women that are already in tech should be empowered.
I've actually studied electrical and electronics engineering, telecommunications option. So basically I'm in the tech sector.
The government should empower the girl child in a way that they should venture so much into ICT.
There's never a dull moment with us. Tune in every Monday from 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Well, I'm holding forth for the news anchor in charge of the business segment. Now, the government plans to tap SACCO resources in actualizing affordable housing projects. Under a proposed plan, SACCOs will avail land and financial resources for the construction of low-cost houses. Cooperatives Principal Secretary Patrick Kilema says that government is in talks with various SACCO leaders to strike a public-private partnership deal on affordable housing.
According to the Central Bank of Kenya, there were slightly over 27,000 mortgages in the country at the end of December 2022. Despite the data pointing to a 4% increase from the previous year, non-performing mortgages in 2022 closed at 37.8 billion shillings compared to 28.3 billion shillings in 2021. To show up the uptake and minimize defaults in the real estate sector, the government says it will extend the tax break to mortgage takers in SACCOs.
Requested for a memorandum to be submitted to Parliament so that when Parliament is discussing the current tax finance bill, those issues are deliberated. We also know about issues to do with mortgages. We know that the SACCOs are doing very well in mortgages.
Currently, mortgage tax waivers are only applicable to commercial bank borrowers.
In terms from a legal perspective, it's that the relief, because when you get a mortgage from banks, you get a relief, but you get a mortgage from the moment you don't get it.
The government has further initiated talks with SACCOs to tap into the movement's 1.5 trillion members' deposits to shore up the housing fund.
That through cooperatives, a lot of transformation will take place in this country faster than they could have chosen any other.
SACCOs and the government will develop housing units under the public-private partnership where they will avail land for the housing scheme.
You know that cooperatives are big owners of land. We are actually bigger participants. Cooperative movement is a big participant in provision of affordable housing in the country.
Affordable housing is one of the government's flagship programs that seeks to build 250,000 low-priced houses. Benson Druba reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, it's all systems go for the third Kenyan International Investment Conference that starts on Sunday. That's the 28th here in Nairobi, Kenya, of course, leveraging to use that conference to showcase investment opportunities. As Regina Manyara narrates, the conference will feature a working retreat for trade ministers from across the continent of Africa and the Africa Private Sector Dialogue, bringing together the top 100 businesses from across Africa.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and the Industry is a private membership-based trade support institution working to protect commercial and industrial interests of Kenyan businesses. Members join the body voluntarily. The government is drafting the Kenya National Chamber bill that will streamline and support small and medium-sized businesses.
We are going to have the chamber, the Kenya Chamber,
I'm not talking about the various configurations as they are, that is truly reflective of Kenyan business. Kenya is going to be at the next haven for small and medium businesses, and I'm doing everything possible to create a very good environment for small and medium businesses. But that should not be the end of our aspiration. We should aspire to grow. We should aspire to be continental. We should aspire to be global.
If enacted, the bill will benefit small businesses by enhancing their access to global markets and financing.
It is of our utmost interest that Kenya participate in a very strong, integrated Africa Continental Free Trade area.
Korea challenged the private sector to embrace the private sector internship program to offer a platform for those leaving institutions of higher learning to acquire job skills to improve their employability.
I have a target of 500,000 internships. You can give that by yourself, then I can raise a target. But we must put 500,000 Kenyans into internship program. We can do it.
He said the internship program should be part of the private sector's corporate social responsibility by investing in Kenyan youth who are also their target market. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Naitwa Sara Mukami Mboya, natoka mtaa wa Saika Kagudo Road. Naweza wasihi mcheze Loto Moto, ni kitu ya haki na uhuru. Nimejishidia home theater na ninashukuru sana. Mbarikiwe.
Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number weka 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2,000. Lipa kisha subiri draw.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the hustler fund?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, how do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
The Scorecard. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back. Now, Parliament wants the budget allocation to the Ministry of Energy increased to 75 billion shillings from the proposed 61.7 billion shillings. The Departmental Committee on Energy says that the increased funding will go towards funding affordable cooking gas, last-mile connectivity, as well as the completion of pending energy projects. The committee is further urging the National Treasury to help restructure the loan books of various parastatals under the Ministry of Energy.
So, I was already...
While presenting their report for consideration on budget estimates, the Energy Committee is recommending an additional allocation of 500 million shillings for the clean cooking gas for public boarding institutions project, an additional allocation of 500 million for the installation of transformers in constituencies project, with the department keen on installing microchips on transformers to curb theft.
Something that it can be traced anywhere, so that and it is nicely fitted so that you can't ever tell where it is. And with the technologies now, you can have the smallest you can imagine as a microchip that will be able to tell us where each of these transformers are wherever they are taken.
The Energy Departmental Committee Chair Vincent Musyoka says the proposed budget cuts amounting to 15 billion shillings will have a major impact on the country's energy sector. The committee notes the cuts will affect various ongoing power projects like the completion of the Western Kenya Transmission Line, the Olkaria 6A and the subsidized cooking gas project.
And the only way to get in cheap gas, because I believe the current cost of gas can go as much as half if we introduce competition.
The committee also wants the National Treasury to help restructure the loan book of the National Oil Corporation of Kenya to reverse the suspension of credit lines by commercial banks. This will help the state entity access credit to finance the implementation of the 30% oil import quota. The committee is also raising queries on the high pending bills, with the Kenya Power owing suppliers 84 billion shillings, while the Geothermal Development Corporation owes suppliers 1 billion shillings in unpaid bills. The committee also wants the National Treasury to help restructure the loan book of the National Oil Corporation of Kenya to reverse the suspension of credit lines by commercial banks.
The geothermal project has been one of the areas where the committee has a lot of reservations, because we have drilled lots of steam and we are not using this steam. And now the latest is that there has been a push and pull for Judicial to be able to get a letter of support, to be able now to start, because they are almost commissioning their first 22 megawatts. Soon we will not need any money from to give money to Judicial, because once the 22 megawatts are commissioned, that money that will be generating from the sale of power is actually more than the much we ask.
We have been able to scale down on the money that we are borrowing. Last year, the physical deficit that was there in terms of the number, we borrowed around 860 billion Kenya shillings. We are bringing that down to around 663 billion this financial year, because we want to live up to the promise to Kenyans that we made as this budget committee, that we are not going to drown our country again into debts.
The recommendations are expected to be tabled in Parliament to be considered by the Budget and Appropriations Committee of the House. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Now, as we wait for those recommendations to be tabled in Parliament, just come a bit closer. I want you to listen to this one. It will be mandatory for small and medium-sized businesses to register with a business lobby group if a bill being drafted is enacted. Investment, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria says that the Kenya National Chamber bill seeks to streamline operations for businesses to make it what? Easier for government as well as other non-state actors to support the small and medium-sized businesses.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and institution working to protect commercial and industrial interests of Kenyan businesses. Members joined the body voluntarily. The government is in the process of reviewing the policy framework for small businesses and is drafting the Kenya National Chamber law in an attempt to enhance promotion of trade and investment as well as enterprise expansion.
We are going to have the chamber, the Kenya Chamber. I'm not talking about the various configurations as they are. That is truly reflective of Kenyan business. A chamber which even stand, we can say, I'm proudly a member. So in the chamber law, it is going to be mandatory for every registered business in Kenya to be a member of the chamber. It is not going to be a choice.
If enacted, it will be mandatory for businesses to register with the newly created Kenya National Chamber to boost portfolios of the businesses, as well as create a platform for government support in accessing markets, especially for MSMEs. Kuria believes this will expand the market for small businesses.
It is of our utmost interest that Kenya participate in a very strong integrated Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Kuria further urged the private sector to roll out internship initiatives for skills acquisition for those leaving institutions of higher learning, as well as create jobs.
I really ask you for your support to make the private sector internship program work, and I have a target of 500,000 internships. You can give that by yourself, then I can raise a target. But we must put 500,000 Kenyans into internship program with
Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back on the other side of this live broadcast, Karen Kibet, fondly referred to as Marcos, will be taking charge of the day sports. Stay with us.
Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Berlin is calling. The footballing fraternity is taking note. Defending champions RB Leipzig have reached the DFB Pokal final for the third successive season after an emphatic 5-1 win over SC Freiburg.
Danny Olmo, there's no pressure on him, and he's found Nkunku! Ruthless!
Similarly, Eintracht Frankfurt are into the final of the DFB Cup following a 3-2 victory over VfB Stuttgart. The DFB Pokal hits a crescendo on Saturday, 3rd June at 9 p.m. when RB Leipzig will be up against Eintracht Frankfurt, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Don't miss out on the unexpected delight.
It is Colomboigny against Bredlow, a battle Colomboigny was never going to lose.
KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
The cup with the golden ticket. Mozart Bet Cup, 2 million shillings. CAF Confederations Cup. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet Cup.
A very good evening to you. Welcome back to KBC Prime Edition. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. Now, defending champions and 3 times winners, Vihiga Queens are the 2022-2023 Kenya Women's Premier League champions. Vihiga beat visiting Nakuru City Queens 2-1 at Mumia's complex grounds to move 52 points in the log after 21 matches. The Vihiga County-sponsored side has 52 points, 4 more points than Gaspo, who boast of 48 points. The team switches its attention to the Sekafa Club Champions League qualifiers set for July in Uganda after missing the showpiece last year due to the FIFA suspension. The team participated in the inaugural CAF Women's Champions League in Egypt in 2021 after winning the qualifiers in Nairobi. Meanwhile, Zitex Sparks mini resurgence continued following the 3-1 win over Kisumu All-Stars FC in a game played at Games Cambridge grounds. Sparks are 7th in the log with 29 points. Boston Marathon champion Hellen Obiri has jetted back into the country after defending her Great Manchester Run 10-kilometer road race title in the United Kingdom. The 33-year-old is now eyeing another marathon race before the current season comes to an end.
Boston Marathon champion Hellen Obiri is back in the country after triumphing in the Great Manchester Run 10-kilometer road race. Obiri successfully defended her title on Sunday, clocking that 1:14 minutes, 45 seconds ahead of Olympic marathon champion Perez Jepchirchir, who clocked 31:59 minutes, and Carly Thackeray of Britain, who took the bronze medal. The 33-year-old made her debut in marathon in New York last year and is now targeting a return to the New York City Marathon, set for 5th of November.
When I go there, like I said, everything's going to happen because it's ladies and there's no pacemakers and there are no hostings like championships. Anybody can win. I trusted what I do and I said, can I give my test a try, because my first marathon, the New York Marathon, disappointed me, but I got experience from there because I say, let me be patient and wait the right time to happen.
Last month, Uhuru won the 2023 Boston Marathon in a time of 2 hours, 21 minutes and 38 seconds. For Prime Edition, I'm Fred Njogu.
Thank you, Njogu, for that report. Moving on, Kenya women rugby team Lionesses has moved up 2 places to 23rd after Saturday's 29-20 win over Madagascar in the opening round of this year's Rugby Africa Cup division. The Lionesses picked up 1.26 points, and that was enough to move them above both Portugal and Trinidad and Tobago in the World Rugby Women's rankings. England remains the top-ranked team with 94.55 points, while 13th placed South Africa are the top African team. The Kenyan team will take on South Africa on Wednesday before wrapping up their campaign against Cameroon on 29th on the table on the 28th of this month. Ewan Van Niekerk and Hazel Courier were among the winners of the U.S. Kids Golf Spring Local Tour double-header hosted at Karen Country and Muthaiga Golf Clubs. The 2 events attracted a total of 319 young golfers.
This past weekend saw a remarkable display of talent as 319 young golfers took to the course for the U.S. Kids Golf Spring Local Tour double-header hosted at the Karen Country Club and Muthaiga Golf Club. The tournaments, jointly organized by US Kids Golf and the Junior Golf Foundation Kenya and supported by NCBA Bank, aimed to provide junior golfers with a platform to refine their skills and enhance their competitiveness. Juniors ranging from 5 to 18 years old showcased their abilities in age-appropriate competitions against their peers. At the Karen leg, Ewan Van emerged as the top player in the boys 15 to 18-year-old category with a score of 83 gross, followed closely by Ishan Samani with 84 gross. At the Muthaiga Club, Junaid Manji claimed first place in the boys 15 to 18-year-old category.
And that story brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. And sadly, we were hopeful that our girls in Tunisia, KPC, would bag the 2023 Women's Africa Volleyball Club Championship. But sadly, Zamalek have taken that title. They are the African champions. So we wish our girls all the best in their next competition. That's all for tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports news. Don't go too far, because right after this short break, my colleague Mboya will be back with more.
It is the cup with the golden ticket. Mozart Bet Cup. 2 million shillings. CAF Confederations Cup. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart Bet Cup.
All right, Marakwet, thank you for that sporty update. Of course, sadly, Kenya Pipeline vanquished by Zamalek. But we want to finish this one on a good note. We know that Helen Obiri has an assignment coming up, and also the Vihiga Queens. They'll be on the rampage in July, just across the borders in Uganda. Well, that brings us to the end of this live broadcast. I want to thank everybody, including my director, who is in the back end. He's the only one allowed to make me look tall. I want to thank all of you. Our sign language interpreter, Lensa Odingo, with her smile over style. in a mile per while. Thank you all. My name is Mboya, and I'm wishing you a pleasant evening. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's do this again tomorrow. Bye-bye.